We all know Joe Hisaishi's romanticized classical music compositions from Hayao Miyazaki's films like Spirited Away, Howl's Moving Castle, Princess Mononoke, My Neighbor Totoro, Kiki's Delivery Service, and the list just goes on. These are just some of the most iconic scores in anime film that breathe an incredible amount of life into already incredible characters and worlds created by Miyazaki and his team. But what if I told you that Joe Hisaishi, the same composer, also made electronic Blade Runner-like music in the 80s for a manga? Welcome to Music and Anime, I'm Ab, and let's get right into this. Now, if you are a fan of the Ghibli movies and the soundtracks along with that, and you collect records and whatnot, you would know that just recently, and if you didn't, they listed a whole bunch of records for the soundtracks to these films. So naturally, as a fan, I'm browsing through these listings, and I notice that there's an album there under Joe Hisaishi's name that I had no idea it existed. And that is this one right here. This is Kisho Tenyo. And what took me by surprise, even more than just the existence of this thing, is the style of music. It's electronic synthwave type music. And it's just like, thinking of Joe Hisaishi making any kind of like electronic type of music in general was just like looking at the other side of the moon or something, you know? And after listening to the album, it sounded like being on the other side of the moon. It's so like sci-fi sounding. It's really cool. There are some tracks that sound like a mix of Final Fantasy battle music, some really like Nobu Matsu type stuff on there. It simultaneously sounds like Castlevania too. Like it could fit super well into either of those games as Final Fantasy battle music or in a Castlevania game, like if they were a sci-fi or something. It's some weird blend, and I'm all over it. I freaking love this thing. Now, before we take a look at this record, which I know you want to look at this, just trust me, I'll get there, don't worry. Now, the art that we see here isn't the same as the original pressing in 1984. The art that's on the jacket of that one is the character Sayako, and she looks the way she does, like exactly, like right in the manga. They went with a different artist here for the reissue. This artist goes by Luna Monogatari, and her art style, I'll show you some examples of her art here. It looks very much like if Picasso made art inspired by Satoshi Kon's Paprika. Like, honestly. Also, what's really neat, to me, when I see Luna Monogatari, it sounds like moon stories to me. Monogatari meaning stories, and Luna, I don't know if Luna in Japanese is also moon, but Luna in Spanish to me is moon. I guess if I'm combining different languages here and whatnot. But I love the fact that the artist, to me, it translates to moon stories, because this album very much sounds like the other side of the moon, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, with the artist out of the way, let's dive right into this. Now, I'm pretty sure that the character that we see on the jacket here is just Luna Monogatari's take on the character Sayako, which is the main character of the series. And I love that we see the cherry blossoms kind of falling throughout the album art here. Now, when we open up the jacket, you can see we have another beautiful profile of Sayako there. Again, I'm assuming she's Sayako. Now, what's cool here is that there are 10 tracks in this album, and on the left side here, we have 10 pieces of text that coincide that piece of music. So now let's take a look at what pretty sure we were all waiting for here, and that is the record itself. Now, it did come with a digital download code, which is awesome. Now, this is a beautiful, beautiful pink record that, again, the pink that's on the album art, just with this limited edition pink, is just a really nice touch for it being pink as well. Now, on side A, we have even more of the flowers on the label art there. You can see it's lag records. We have 5 tracks on each side. Side B there, which the art on the label there looks to be like her hair. That we can see, if I put it side by side there, they went with her hair for some reason. Now, since the album was made to be listened to while reading the text on the inside or reading the manga, I figured we can do that with some of the text here and give you that full experience. So I'm going to put my best narrator voice on, I guess, and future Ab, cue the music. Legend of Tenyo. And the 7 treasures rain down a blessed gift upon the earth. It is this quotation from the No play Hagoromo with which the story begins. Our heroine is a descendant of a Tenyo, a celestial maiden who fell to earth. The original Tenyo's Hagoromo, a feathered celestial garment without which a celestial maiden can't return to the heavens, has been passed down through the family. This song is a theme song for this album, and it's meant to evoke the legend of the Tenyo who became a wife. Now already this is very atmospheric and does a good job at really delivering the texture that this story is supposed to be. So even if you never read the manga, this is one hell of an experience, which is awesome. But if you were wondering, yes, I like Joe Hisaishi. I'm a huge fan of Joe Hisaishi. I love his newer, like, romantic style music and all that stuff. Is there anything in this album that sounds like that? And yes, but before we get to that, I want to show you some of the Final Fantasy and Castlevania-like ones here. And that's Sayako's theme, or just, simply titled Sayako Kano. And this is track 2. Sayako Kano. In the midst of cherry blossoms swirling in the spring storm, a new transfer student arrives to Yuiko Asai's school, Sayako Kano. There's something mysterious about her enchanting nature that seems to affect everyone. Spreading over the school like a quiet ripple, things begin to slowly shift with this new, intriguing transfer student at the center. You don't get the sense from here that she's this really badass character, but in the manga, I've read just a few chapters, only 4 volumes, and I've read a little more than 2 now, so I'm more than halfway through the story so far. She's incredibly badass. Like, she's an awesome character, and the story, it has really, really mature contents in it. Like, might not be for the faint of heart, You're telling me, okay, Ab, that's cool and all, but where's the Joe Hisaishi that I know in this, right? There's honestly a few tracks in here. We're going to go to the very last track because in case you wanted to read it and whatnot, some of the tracks, they really do have some pretty heavy spoilers in there. So I'll remain in spoiler-free territory and just read you that last one, which is just a quote from the manga as well. This is Reincarnation. Would a human man who makes the Tenyo his wife be truly happy? And right here it doesn't finish, but in the manga it says, or miserable. Alright, but that is Kisho Tenyo. Before, ending this here, I do want to say that in the bottom there, right next to where we were reading, you can see that there are 2 performers on this album here. That's Joe Hisaishi himself and Yasuko Fukuoka. Now, who's Yasuko Fukuoka, you might ask? She's a former composer who is now a food writer, and she writes a lot of books on Japanese-style dishes and whatnot. So if you wanted to learn some Japanese cooking and whatnot, you can pick up some of her cooking books as well. There's just so much to this. It's awesome. So this is a piece of Joe Hisaishi history, and I love that I have it in my collection. Now, unfortunately, everywhere that I have seen this listed, it's been sold out. So yeah, again, this released in February 2018. So a lot of the places where it was listed, it's no longer available. So I'll leave a link on Discogs where I know there are some listings there that are seriously not more than what the retail price was for that. Hopefully, if you're interested in picking up either the pink or black variants there, you can hopefully add that to your collection and enjoy it even more as we did here. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and, hitting the thumbs up and whatnot, all that good stuff. It really helps me out. I will have more stuff for you guys down the road. I will try to upload more consistently. It's just, these things take some time to put together and whatnot. So I appreciate those who are patient with me and look forward to more stuff. So yeah, I will see you on my next video. Thank you.